And some of the earlier missionaries that were doing this saw their job as establishing these cemetery plots so that Muslims could be buried according to Islamic law. I'll go through these people real quick. I won't spend a lot of time on them simply because we don't have a lot of time. So this is Muhammad Sadiq that I talked about, the founder, one of the missionaries of the Ahmadiyah Movement. And the Ahmadiyya Movement, if you're not familiar with it, is not generally considered to be a Muslim movement by the majority of Muslims in the world. The branch of the Ahmadiyya Movement in particular that he belonged to, because they believed that the founder was a Messiah figure, or the Mahdi. And once a lot of Muslims found out that that's what he was saying, that he wasn't just a renewer of the religion, but was this prophetic Mahdi figure who rejected the hadiths and so on, they decided that they're not Muslims. So today, for example, in Pakistan, there are laws against Ahmadiyya considering themselves Muslims and even like saying assalamu alaikum to them and things of that sort. He comes to the United States, and the Ahmadiyya movement sends people all over Europe, in part because one of the things that the founder of the Ahmadiyya movement, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, was engaged in was debates with Christian missionaries. And this was a time in which Americans and Europeans more generally were arguing for and trying to establish a sense of explain why it is that America had advanced so much and why they were superior, and race, religion went hand in hand often, to be able to make that argument. And the Ahmadiyya movement tried to reverse the tables on Protestant Christians to say that the religion of progress is not Protestantism, but it's actually Islam. And a lot of their writing is based on that. So immediately when they send their missionaries out, they send them to Europe and America with the idea that if we convert these people, particularly Protestants, to Islam, we would demonstrate the superiority of Islam. Yeah. And the Ahmadiyya, because they were such an early important presence in the United States, are very interested in their history and have digitized a lot of their early newspapers and from the 1920s and so on. So if you go on their website, you could access a lot of these things. Another one of these figures that we have found out more recently about is Satti Majid, simply because he didn't start any newspapers, but he started a lot of organizations and converted some African Americans to Islam, is Satti Majid, who was a Sudanese missionary who had heard about mistreatment of misconceptions of Islam in the West, had come primarily as a laborer to first England and then the United States, and begins to present himself as Sheikh al-Islam fi al-Amrika al-Shumali, the Sheikh of Islam in North America, and often wrote letters in his capacity as the leader of Muslims in North America to the British embassies or also the French embassy on behalf of Muslims who were subjects of these empires and wanted to be able to go back to their countries but didn't have the money to go back and so on. And some of those letters have survived. He played an important role in the founding of the Detroit Mosque. He played an important role in converting some early Muslim African Americans to Islam.